Up at the White House, lots happened. The president had a visit with the South African president, and it was pretty contentious. And we'll get to that in a second. The president went for like a Zelensky photo op redux, but this time with audiovisual aids. We will get to that, but I want to talk about number five, please, Sam. This issue of the Qatari jet for Air Force One, and people said the president will never fly on it because it can't be retrofitted in time. And I've been hearing from folks, no, Mark, don't be so skeptical. This thing could be done sooner than you think. And the Defense Department today accepted it from the Qataris. And so it's now, American property, and we'll see how fast it can retrofit. Now, in the photo op today, the president took questions and he called on Peter Alexander. Jill, do you know Peter Alexander?
I know him a little bit.
Little bit. Dan, you know Peter?
I do. I don't know him personally. We met once, but
okay.
Yes.
I used to be out on the trail with Peter. I know Peter pretty well, and Peter has had a contentious relationship with Donald Trump. Not maybe the most contentious, but Peter wanted to ask the president about the jet. Seems like a legit topic, and of course, the president's taken questions on it in the past. So I'm going to show you this, and then on the back half, Jill, here's going to be my question to you. If you were the NBC News bureau chief, how would you tell Peter to behave in this situation, either the way he does or differently? Like, what's your advice? Not to call Peter out, but it's a challenge, I think, for any Washington bureau chief, which is if the president attacks your reporter, what should your reporter do? On the one hand, you don't want to sit silent and be attacked and sort of concede that the president has a point. On the other hand, it's not great to fight with the president of the United States because you become the story. So here's the president taking a question from Peter Alexander. This is number 6, please.
The president of the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing, they also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead. Go ahead, talk about that. His name is Peter something. He's a terrible reporter. Quiet.
That's my question now.
Let's go.
So, Jill, ever since I saw that, I wondered how I would have handled it. But I'm wondering, again, if Peter were your reporter, what would you tell him about how he did?
It's certainly not a problem, that only Peter Alexander has had. I would call it, I'd name this phenomenon the Jim Acosta treatment.
Yeah.
And, calling somebody a terrible reporter and a disgrace. I mean, he does that on Truth Social all the time. And by name, he's done it ridiculously to Peter Baker of the New York Times. But
it seemed like Peter tried to get more questions. And should he just be silent? Should he stand up for his boss? Brian Roberts, who runs Comcast, what would you advise the right thing to do professionally?
I would not have stood up for his boss, Brian Roberts. That's a little bit.
Should he stand up for himself? Should he say, Mr. President, I'm asking you a fair question? Or
I am asking you a question that is newsworthy and the public needs information about it.
Yeah. So, Dan, I'm sure MAGA loves that. I mean, I don't need to do a poll or focus group. You saw Bernie Sanders plays that same card sometimes, right? He'll criticize the press, usually not from the podium, usually in an interview if he doesn't like the questions. And of course, we saw John Fetterman the other day say the New Yorker profile of him was fake news and the liberal media was going after him. He used the Trump lines. Democrats who are studying Donald Trump, the press is not particularly popular with the left either. Would you advise Democrats to say, yeah, that's something we should take from Donald Trump if you don't like the line of questioning? And again, I don't know why the president was offended by this because he takes questions on the topic all the time. Would you advise the Democrats to adopt that pugilistic attitude towards the media?
No, because it's one of the things voters don't like about Trump. They may still vote for him because they like his, immigration policy or
well,
whatnot.
but the base likes that.
Yeah, but the base doesn't win you general elections, right? We always talk about this. They can get you through a primary. It's good to have a solid base. But look, I think you have to be authentic and true to yourself. And I think Jill, being from New York and stuff, would probably agree with me. Trump has always been like this. I mean, even in the 80s, he would bully Page Six reporters about his dating life. So I think voters see this in him. But if I went to a candidate and said, Pete Buttigieg, you're now going to get in people's faces and you're going to, it just would not look natural. So even in the context of a nomination fight, I'll just say I disagree with you, not because I want people to attack the press, but I believe that if Democrats did this, particularly when there's cause, and I don't see any cause here, I really do think, unfortunately, it would be effective in a Democratic nomination fight because the Democratic base doesn't like the media any more than MAGA does. Well, but I think one of the more effective ways, Ronald Reagan would use humor. Barack Obama at times used humor. Like, you can mock him a little bit, you can tease him. I don't know, maybe I'm, it's my gray hair and stuff. I think trying to bully reporters into submission is not, in the long run, how you're going to win voters. I think if you bullied Trump, if you went at Trump and, he punched you and you punched back, the base would go ballistic for you.
That was a delicious video experience. I think you'll agree. Now, what you need to do in return for getting to enjoy that is hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a thing.